Welcome back. Last week, we talked about how complaints can be turned into solutions using the Pareto principle or the 80-20 rule. We learned that we only need to know about the top 20% of our issues to actually dig in and start to see how to build self-help tools for our customers so they don't need to call. The conversations that make your team complain and want to tattoo themselves with solutions should be well documented in your PSA. And because of that, a simple report or two should get you to the bottom of what your top 20 issues happen to be. Quick tip, if you haven't already, it makes sense to add a field to your tickets that is reportable that allows you to say whether a solution was technical or knowledge-based. Knowledge means that it could have been solved if the customer had only known something. Technical is something that it wasn't the customer's fault. So we want to hone in on those knowledge-based issues. And to get started on this process, what we want to do is pool your resources. That means both your people and potential vendor resources. So what do your vendors have available to you that might solve some of your most common issues? You'd be surprised the wealth of videos that vendors might be able to supply you. That means you don't have to take any extra effort. You simply start to share those with your customers. Once you've depleted those resources and still have issues remaining, then it's time to sit down with your team and listen. Listen to how your team describes how they solve problems. If they talk about, oh, I show them this one quick step, it's simple, it's easy, and they're done, great, that might be a couple-minute video that you could show and post to a knowledge base. If they talk about the fact that they don't even have to show, they can actually talk the customer through successfully in maybe 2 to 3 steps. That might be a knowledge base article or a chatbot response. Please make certain, though, that it is simple, not by your tech or engineer's estimation, but actually by your customer's estimation. Then if you come to the more challenging issues that tend to take multiple steps, but sometimes can solve multiple problems, you might actually be working with something like a webinar. Now, don't get worried about a webinar. They don't have to be long and complex. They could be 15 to 20 minutes with 10 minutes of Q&A. Then that recorded resource can go up into your knowledge base again and walk people through a process and reduce your call volume. That's really what it's all about. Once your resources are all created, then it's time to make certain they are easy for your customers to find and for your team to share. Is that the end? No, of course not. It's time to communicate this change to your customers, to tell everyone often, everywhere. If you need help managing change, check out our change checklist video. There is a link in the description below. Now, are we finally done? No. It's going to take time for your customers to adopt this, so give it time. And by time, I mean 6 months to a year. But keep an eye on how your customers are doing. Are you watching your call volume decrease? Now, do I believe that this is going to reduce all of your calls? No, by no means. You will still get calls on these issues that you've identified and you've provided resources for. However, what would it look like if you could reduce a 15% of your call volume? If you're uncertain of the savings that you would gain, tune in next week. We will start to dive into that process of understanding what it costs to service your customers through your tickets. Always remember that First Things First is happy to help you get started on any of these things. We do love training and we love seeing happy customers and employees working on things they love.